Mayor Bill de Blasio hoping to keep New York City public schools closed through the end of the year. According to reports, 50 employees have died from coronavirus within the education system. 20 of those are teachers. Joining us by phone this morning with his take on the future of the nation's largest public school system is Michael Mulgrew. He is the president of the United Federation of Teachers. So good morning to you, Mr. Mulgrew. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning to you. I hope you're well.
Hope you are well as well. First and foremost, what are your thoughts on the fact that the mayor is saying the schools should be closed for the rest of the year? The governor saying it's a coordinated effort. Your opinion on should they remain closed, and who are you taking your guidance from?
I'm taking my guidance from science at this point. For the teachers and all of the staffs at the schools and the parents who we talk to all the time now, because the way we've done remote learning is we're now in everyone's house every day, and all our students is we need to have assurance that the schools are going to be safe, that we're not going to be transmitting this virus once again. And until we have those assurances and a procedure in place, then I think that the parents and teachers will stand together to say that we need that plan, and it needs to make sense, and it has to be signed off by medical experts, and then we'll be okay to move forward.
So have you heard from teachers right now on the front lines who are at home doing this e-learning about their concerns about the possibility of schools reopening before the end of the year? What are they saying?
Of course we have. It's all about we have to ensure that they're safe. There's a lot of, every morning you get up and you hear, you go on and you watch the news, and there's a lot of speculation going on all over the place. To us, it's always really about, what we tell everyone is the same thing. It has to be signed off by medical experts. We understand the need for the economy to move forward, but we're not going to move the economy forward at the sake of the safety of the people inside of schools. So that's what we hear from the members. We want to be safe. We're doing the remote learning. The e-learning is what the teachers have pulled off has been phenomenal. If you would have asked 6 weeks ago, the largest school system in the United States with no plan, no support, no training in place, if they would have been able to pull this off, most people would have said no. But guess what? The teachers and all the staffs at the school have risen to the occasion. They have gotten it done. So I want to thank them first and foremost.
Yeah, they are essential workers. They are on the front lines every single day right now. So I want to talk about remote learning, which began back on March 23rd. There's been a lot of confusion for parents who haven't received certain tablets, right, to participate in this e-learning. So what have the teachers been saying about this? Any difficulties they are experiencing in really first learning Zoom and then told, okay, we're not going to use Zoom, we're going to go to a different system? What have they been saying on the front lines?
What the teachers have done from the beginning is they're figuring it out, teacher by teacher with each parent, school by school. This has been definitely grassroots up. Yes, the switching from getting to get off Zoom. So what we do as a union is we get all of our schools and our teachers using Google to then talk to all of the teachers who are using Zoom so we can move it quickly. Not all students, for about 240,000 students, still need tablets. That does not mean they are not engaged in their learning. They are still using the smartphones, their parents' smartphones. There's teachers who go out every Monday morning to a post office to mail packets of material to the students who they know don't have Wi-Fi access. So our challenge was, how do we make sure we engage all of our students? And the teachers have gone above and beyond in all sorts of different creative ways to make sure that they're reaching all the students. The 240,000 students, the Department of Ed it's a supply chain issue, more about with Apple. But last week we gave out 35,000 tablets, and this week I believe they're trying to push out another 75,000.
Is there anything that could better streamline the process for teachers? What are they saying is the biggest obstacle? Is it attendance? Is it the fact that they're now talking to their students and having conversations over the phone and over the computer? What is the biggest challenge for them?
The biggest challenge, believe it or not, is time, because they're shifting time. It's not. There were people who thought that we would just have a classroom, but virtually. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes that's the case. We have live learning going on quite a bit, but a lot of times we're time shifting because of the needs of the parents, especially at the younger grades. The parent needs to be there to help the child with the technology and all sorts of different services that a school supplies. A lot of times we're now training the parent on helping us supply those services. So it's really about time and coordination of all this. This is one thing we can say now. remote learning takes a lot more time and effort than just going to a school and teaching, which was hard enough to begin with.
Yeah, and my father's a teacher. It's not in New York City, but he has gone on to this e-learning system and says he's not only talking to the students now, he's talking to their entire families, right? Having these conversations with them who are now participating as a family in the learning. I can't let you go without talking about the loss of life here. Been tragic and unbearable, right? We had 50 employees, 21 of those are teachers. Are those numbers still accurate? And what are you saying to the department as a whole in this time of tragedy? Each one of those numbers represents a family in mourning here.
For us, for the United Federation of Teachers, the total number of school staff is, as of last night, was 43 school staff. So it's teachers, it's paraprofessionals, it was a guidance counselor. We track those numbers at all times. We think it's appropriate that the Department of Ed, who had never tracked these numbers, is doing that now. But each one of those numbers is a tragedy that 2 months ago, that's nothing. Those families were thinking nothing about they were going to lose a loved one. And that now it's about reaching out to those families to support them, to support their loved ones, for making sure we're doing everything we possibly can legally so that their finances are being taken care of, that their health care is staying in place. And at the same time, there's the school family. So you have normally, we never have had this many deaths in this short of a period of time. Yeah. But every time there's a death in a school, there's children who are greatly affected. There's the school staff that's greatly affected. The union has a crisis intervention team and a member assistance program with psychologists and social workers, but we're doing it all remotely. And that's really a major challenge, because if you put a group of students in a room and you speak to them, some will automatically start to work through the grief process. It's the ones that aren't speaking that you need to see visually, and then you pull them aside and you start working with them. That's the challenge we're dealing with right now, because we can't bring them together, and they're hurting. They're all hurting, but each one of those deaths is someone who decided to dedicate their life to making children's lives better. And they're all heroes, and the tragedy and the hurt is unbelievable at this point.
Yeah, and they are essential workers. I know many of the teachers were upset that spring break was canceled, but it all had to do with keeping everybody home safe and secure. Mr. Mulgrew, I thank you for your time this morning and speaking with us about what's happening on the education system. Teachers are on the front lines. I come from a family of teachers, so it's very personal to me. Thank you for your time this morning, okay?
Thank you, and be safe. Bye-bye.
You as well.